What is what is going on, guys? We have Derek, aka the ATL Flipper. Check out his YouTube and his Instagram at the ATL Flipper on Instagram and YouTube. What's going on, Derek?
How you doing, Ty?
Good, man. How about
Doing
you?
good, man. Doing good. Yeah, I'm
Awesome.
doing good. I'm doing good.
I think there's a little delay on my end. I'll slow down. So give everybody where you're from and when you started reselling, man.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Stone Mountain, Georgia, and now I live in Atlanta, the beautiful city of Atlanta, and I've been reselling for 3 years. Prior to that, I was a teacher.
Teaching what?
Yeah, so I taught in elementary. I taught kindergarten and first grade.
What made you do the switch?
Well, as a teacher, when you teach, it's very intense. I mean, time consuming and all of that. So my wife and I, we already had a daughter, but my wife was pregnant with our son. And long story short, I knew I needed time, to spend with my family and everything like that. But teaching was taking up a lot of my time. And then even financially, it wasn't going to be, as far as what we want to achieve in life, it wasn't going to be that, I wasn't going to be able to make, the amount of money I knew that I needed to make in order to go where I wanted to go, what I'm saying, in life. So yeah, man, I just ended up, stopped teaching. I've been teaching for 6 years. I stopped teaching and went full time. I was doing it I was selling, reselling on eBay part time, and I was actually making double what I was making part time on eBay while I was teaching.
Damn.
And then yeah, so I made the switch at the end of that year and just went full time and went all in, and it's been just awesome.
Never looking back, right?
Never looking back, man.
I love it. So, what's the biggest difference you've seen so far between like teaching and reselling? And is there any
I mean,
similarities as well?
yeah. So the biggest difference is, of course, the time.
Mhm.
Like I'm not just all in like how I used to be. What I'm saying, with teaching and stuff with the children. But one thing that I love is that I'm able to use the tools that I learned from teaching into reselling. When it comes to the time management piece, when you're teaching, you have to have good time management. You have to be on time, you know, and that's something that I really, take to the business with me reselling.
And then, Derek, you kind of jump down into that because I know a lot of people that we even work with struggle with that time management. Can you give everybody some tips and tricks that you found while teaching that made your time management that much better?
Yeah. So one thing is that first, it's important to have a schedule. A lot of people, when it comes to reselling, we don't have a schedule. We just, hey, I just do whatever I do, and I list whenever I want to list. I go thrifting whenever I want to go thrifting. But I think it's important to have a schedule, and not just that, but also like narrowing down how long you're going to be in the thrift store. You know, when it comes to the time management, because your time is valuable. So, you can't just be, at the yard sale for at one house. If you're yard selling at one house for 3-4 hours, what I'm saying? You just got to hit it and keep it going. So, having a schedule is something that I learned also with having a goal, setting goals, achievable goals. That's something else that I learned, with teaching that I bring to the reselling, is setting goals for myself that I know that I can accomplish and challenging myself to accomplish those goals.
Oh, man, love it. And then, so I know we kind of started at the same time 3 years ago in terms of like, what was that 2017, 2018, right?
All right.
Yeah, definitely. We started we started around that time. What, like, I know I've seen a bunch of changes in the resale community. Like, what have you seen? What's been the biggest difference so far?
Really, it's the difference, man, is just the knowledge that I've seen. Before, when I was reselling back in 2012, but I was in college and I was doing it, you do here and there. But yeah, one of the differences that I see, man, is that, like, just really just the knowledge of a lot of items that I never knew existed, the brands I never knew existed, just the knowledge on those items and stuff. and
No,
yeah,
yeah.
that's the
Yeah, it's the same here, right? Exactly. Like you start building that, like that knowledge base, right? And then I'm guessing you're probably the same way. Is now you can go out to like thrift stores and garage sales, and you don't even have to look at your phone most of the time.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
straight game changing, man. I know for sure. Like, what's been the best flip you've had so far? And what's like? Did you look it up beforehand? And where'd you find it?
Yeah. So one of the best flips,
Mhm.
man, it was crazy, man. I went to this thrift store and a guy brought in this oxygen tank. The brand was called Invacare.
Okay.
So it's like the at-home oxygen tanks with the they hook you up and everything. And they had the whole machine, had 3 of the green tanks, everything with it. And I asked the guy how much you want for it. He said $70. So I didn't even look it up because I didn't want to, pull out my phone and look it
Mhm.
up. I just got it $70. I was like, I'm gonna just get it. I know it's worth more than 70.
Yeah,
If I get
yeah.
100. So yeah, I ended up putting it on offer up and it sold for $600. So a guy came, yeah, met me, and it sold like the next day.
Really?
Yeah, it was crazy, man. Yeah, it was crazy.
And all cash too, which is nice.
Yeah, all cash.
And so you said you were at a thrift store. Did you go to the thrift store, or was it when he was dropping it off, like before it got into the thrift?
So literally when I was in the thrift store, you talking about when I picked up the item?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I was in the thrift store and the guy literally took it out the car, rolled it in, and yeah, and I saw it, I was like, oh, and I initially walked out. I initially walked out of the thrift store, then I came back in and I said, man, I'm gonna just ask him how much you want for it. And I asked him, he was like $70, and I was like, let's go. So
That is good. I've never heard of that before in terms of getting it before Goodwill. Because Goodwill will marked it up out of the, like they would probably ask for $300 to $500. You know what I'm saying?
right.
That's good. I like that actually.
Yeah, it was cool, man.
I
It
got
was
one that's
cool.
similar. I was at a garage sale one time, and there is a big telescope, like a $300 to $400 telescope, right? And I
Mm,
was negotiating with the guy, and he's like, "Oh, there's somebody that's going to be coming for this telescope. I bought an offer up. If it doesn't come in the next 5 minutes, I'll give it to you for $100." Like, okay, sounds good. 5 minutes
wow.
goes, I give him the $100, and the guy walks up and goes, he goes, "Oh, that's a telescope, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I just picked it up." And he starts arguing with the guy that sold it to me. And he's like, "You guys can make
Mm,
a deal." I'm like, "Okay, sounds good." I'm like, "Man, I'm gonna flip this. If you can give me an extra $100 and pay him that $100 back, that's perfectly fine." He goes, "Okay,
wow.
sounds good." So it
Yeah.
gives me $100 at the garage sale, right? And then pays him $100. Oh, it was hands down the fastest flip ever. But it's sort of
That's
similar in terms of like
crazy.
right beforehand. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes when I'm in the thrift, man, like it's so funny. I might find a pair of shoes because I mostly, resell shoes, but I might find a pair of shoes and somebody might come up to me and say, hey, I've been looking for these for a long time. I'll pay you $60 right now. And literally I'll take the money, give them the shoe, and then they'll go buy it. So I'm like, hey, quick flip.
Yeah, yeah, fast money. I love those stories. That's the best part about reselling. That and garage sales, in my opinion. So what's your favorite garage sale or estate sale find so far?
Whew. So last year I went to a yard sale in my neighborhood
Okay,
and I picked up 2 Casio pianos,
okay,
portable pianos, and I picked up a Keith Urban electric guitar with the Keith Urban amplifier, everything with it. I mean, case had 2 cases, had the hard case and the soft case, and so the pianos were $20 each, and the Keith Urban guitar was $20.
okay.
So I paid $60 for everything. Crazy, man. And I flipped both of the pianos for like 150 each, and I still have the Keith Urban guitar because one of the strings
Nice.
are broken, so I got to get it, fixed.
How much do you think it's worth to keep an Irving guitar?
So I looked it up, and it said it was like 300. Yeah, around like 300. Yeah, it's an electric guitar too, so
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
good flip. So what? At the $60, you made roughly like $500 to $600. Like nice little come up
yeah,
across a couple of guitars.
yep.
And then for everybody out there as well, like what's your sourcing method right now? Is it just purely on the weekends you're going to garage sales? And you talked a little bit shoes. We can kind of dive deeper in that as well. Or is it like, so is it weekdays? Is it thrift and then garage sales on the weekend? Kind of give everybody your sourcing methods. And then what also do you go to first? Let's say we hit a garage store or the thrift store. What do you go to first?
Yeah, so usually when I go to mainly I go to thrift stores. Recently I haven't been going to yard sales and stuff because it's been raining and all that here in Atlanta like that, like crazy. But usually I go to thrift stores, and I try to go on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. I don't really go on the weekends unless I'm out, but usually I just go during those days because that's when they put out a lot of their inventory. And as far as when I enter the thrift stores, I usually go to the shoes first, then I go to electronics, then I go to clothing, and then I might go to glasswares, and then look at the miscellaneous items and stuff. But that's kind of how I operate when I go in thrift stores.
And then for the shoes, are you mostly selling shoes, and is it men's shoes or women's shoes, or is it like athletic shoes?
Yeah, all type of shoes.
Okay.
All type of shoes, men, women. I really don't do a lot of heels unless they're like designer, but yeah, mostly men, women, kids shoes, do it all.
Yeah, we see a bunch of people. That's kind of like what like clothing. I feel like sells a little bit too slow, like the turnover, and there's so much work involved. Shoes is where we're seeing like a big pump. Like a lot of people are trying to scale. Like if you see like Renzi and those guys, they're all about shoes, right? I'm a big fan of shoes as well. It's just so much easier to like get a lot of units and then be able to move that volume pretty quickly.
Yeah, see here, man, I don't really like doing clothing, but the clothing is just so good. I mean, I'll walk in the thrift and it'll be Patagonia, North Face. I mean, and I can't turn it down, Tyler.
Yeah.
I can't, and it's cheap, $3-4. I got to get it, so yeah.
And do you measure? I feel like I personally hated measuring clothing. Do you measure the clothing, or do you just put it out as without measurements?
Yeah, so some of them, like men shirts or whatever, I really don't measure it unless it's like a dress shirt. But as far as women clothing, I take pictures of the measurements, in the photo.
Yep.
Every piece, because a lot of women, they want to know the size, and if it can fit them. So yeah.
A lot more picky. We've seen across like the return rate on men's compared to women's clothing is dramatically different. It's like 3x more on women's clothing than it is men's clothing. I feel like men just like a person. I like if I get a shirt that I'm like I really, it's like I kind of like it. I don't really like it. I'm not gonna return it. Right.
Right. Yeah.
So kind of give what's your next steps? Like what are you trying to do with like the reselling business? I know I've talked to a bunch of people and like they're doing everything from real estate, trying to grow the reselling business more. Are you trying to scale up? Or are you looking to like what's your mark in terms of your what you're going after? Is it listings per day? Is it revenue? Kind of talk about that, kind of your future goals in reselling.
Yeah, so right now I have a goal that I want to make 200K.
Okay.
And actually, before I heard about HAMMOQ, one of my goals was I had a few people that I know that they're really good at thrifting. So I asked them, I said, hey, if I hired you just to thrift for me, and I'll pay you for, the items you pick up, and then I can just focus on, cleaning shoes, taking the pictures and all of that and getting it listed. And they said they would, but since I found out about HAMMOQ, I kind of don't really need them anymore, so, but really I want to, scale up my business. And I know even just the short time I've been using HAMMOQ, I've really scaled up my business, through the app and stuff.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm not a big fan of talking about like our business and stuff, but like I'm interested, but like what were you doing before you started using us, and what are you doing now after in terms of revenue?
Yeah, so I've only been using HAMMOQ for around like 3 weeks, I believe.
Okay.
3 weeks. And I've listed probably around like close to 200 some extra items, and before like my schedule before was I would go thrifting, during the week. And then once a month, I would spend that weekend just listing. I might list, 300-400 items, but now I necessarily don't have to do that. So as far as the revenue, as far as the items I've listed on HAMMOQ, man, majority of those items have sold.
Really?
Majority of them have sold. So I'm literally have to keep, uploading, a lot of items because they're selling. And what I noticed is because of the item specifics, it's filled out. lot of buyers now can really, you know, they get it. When they search, my item pops up, and I've even tried to say, let me list on HAMMOQ, and then let me go to eBay and let me put in, you know, the item, and it pops up. Mine a lot of times is first, you know,
Nice.
so
Like
that's
that.
pretty cool, man.
Something that we found that was pretty cool. So we work a lot with like Chris Flip the World, and he actually sent us a screenshot of his SEO on like a bunch of all of his like clothing items, because he just mostly has clothing and shoes. He was number 33 out of 76,000 resellers in men's shoes. So his SEO with using us was number 33 out of 76,000. It's crazy, man.
That's
Crazy.
crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's for eBay. It's all about like, because they base it off item specs across all the search, right? That and title. Sure, you can do price as well, which can always help. And then, are you doing free shipping or paid shipping?
Yeah, I do free shipping on majority of my shoes. Yeah.
No,
Or
smart, right? Like between
yeah.
that and like item specs and a good title, you're gonna be at the top rank, especially if somebody searches that exact brand and model. You start becoming like the
Yeah.
top rank, and it starts moving a lot faster, right? Hopefully, like our personal goal is be able to speed up your listings, and on top of that, help you sell through faster.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna happen, man. It's already happening. So, you know.
Yeah, I love it, man. And then like you talked about kind of like how you thrifted during the week and then listed on the weekends. I haven't heard that before. So kind of why was that? Is it more or less because your weekdays you kind of want to focus on getting as much inventory as possible? And then just on the weekends or that one weekend you just wanted to crush through all this things, so you kind of had that flow? Because I know we talked about earlier being able to schedule everything out.
Yeah, so before, like I said before, with before I was using HAMMOQ, the reason why was that I listed on the weekend was because I have a family, you know, I have a wife, 2 kids, and you know, it's like I want to spend time with my family. So
Yep.
I know, like, by me going thrifting during the week, you know, I wouldn't necessarily have a lot of time to, you know, spend with them, you know, during those weekdays or whatever, if I listed literally every single day. You know, so that's why before I would, you know, on the weekend I'll just say, hey, once a month I'm just locked in the shoe room or whatever, and I'm just listing. I'm listing. But now, you know, I list almost every day through, of course, the HAMMOQ app, whatever, and you know, I'm done in 2 hours, 2-3 hours.
Nice.
You know, and I can spend time, you know, more time with my family, you know, and everything like that. So yeah, that's kind of how it was working before.
And then were you listing before us? Were you listing on the desktop version or the mobile version?
No, mobile. Everything was mobile.
Mobile. Yeah, I did the same thing. I think desktop's living kind of slower, to be honest. It just takes too much extra time.
Yeah. I tried, man, but it's just my eyes, man. It just hurt my eyes. You know,
Yeah.
all these blanks, man. I gotta fill out. I'm like, man, I can't do this, man. I'm gonna just go straight to my phone. You know.
Yeah. After a few times your eyes start bleeding, it's just so much. It's like so much typing and every lot of jazz, man, across the board. So in terms of Atlanta in general, how are the thrift stores? I know you talked about a little bit the garage sales. It's raining all the time there, so you don't hit the garage sales so much. But how are the thrift stores? Do you have a lot of Goodwills, or is there, like, I know in Arizona we have Savers is probably like the second biggest one. What's your favorite places to source in terms of thrift stores?
Yeah, my favorite place would be Goodwill.
Okay.
Then Value Village, then the Salvation Army. But there are a few other little, you know, thrift stores I go to, but they're just owned by someone. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like mom and pops normally don't have that good of stuff because there's just not that much volume?
Well, because I'm in Atlanta, like every thrift store is good.
Okay.
Like
Why do you
majority
think
of
that
everything.
is?
I mean, the thrift stores I go to that are in Atlanta, you have a lot of people that are donating, you know? So, I mean, the population of Atlanta is really growing, you know, and a lot of people it's rare to find somebody that was born in Atlanta that's still living here. Majority of people come from, you know, different states or whatever. So it's like a lot of people they're here now. So they're donating a lot of stuff. And, you know, like thrift stores are getting them and they're putting them out. So they have a lot of stuff. I mean, like some thrift stores, they have so much stuff, Ty, like they can't even get to it. I mean, it's piles of stuff, literally in the back. Like you can see when you walk, it's piles of stuff. I'm talking about like huge boxes of just like shoes, man. literally piled up like 10, 15 feet high, and it's like they can't get to them.
Process through them so much volume that they can't move that much. That's incredible. That's the reason why I love reselling in general. It's like one, like it's kind of a feel good, right? Like you get items back into the market. Like it doesn't go through the value chain, just get dumped off like a third world rough. And because like and we can make money for it, right? It's kind of like best of both worlds. And like have you seen the research that ThreadUp did? Like reselling clothing alone is supposed to grow. It's like a $30 billion business right now. By 2025, it's supposed to be like $72 billion business. So it's supposed to double in like 5 years.
With clothing.
With clothing alone. Think about shoes. I think somebody was saying that 36,000 pairs of used men's sneakers sell per month on eBay alone.
Wow.
Wild.
Yeah. And eBay really changed the game when they started the authentication.
Yeah.
Oh man. Authentication guaranteed. That has changed the game, man.
I've never used it yet so far. Like what happens with the authentication guarantee? And then do you just send it to eBay? They'll check it and then push it out to the buyer, correct?
Yeah. So once you sell an item or a pair of shoes that are $100 or more, and then when it sells, you have to ship it to the authentication place, and then they'll make sure it's legit, and then they'll put the little tag on it, and you can actually scan the tag with your phone when the buyer gets it, and they'll let them know everything, how it's authenticated, that it's 100% authentic and all of that. And then, but once they get it, they ship it to the buyer. And something that I like is that if a buyer says, hey, it's not legit, it's fake, and then I'm taken care of. I don't have to worry about returns because they authenticated it.
Nice. And if they do say it's fake, does it just go back to eBay, kind of like the global shipping where they take care of the cost involved and the item, or do you get the item back and you have to refund anyway?
Well, no, I've never had, a return.
Issue.
But I know that's what eBay said, that, if somebody wanted to, return them or a refund, and then, I'm safe on my end. I don't know what eBay does, but, I'm covered.
Nice. You think that eBay started getting that just because of StockX and like the real, they're trying to compete, or is it just kind of like expanding that they had to do it?
Yeah, I think they kind of had to do it because on eBay, a lot of people were selling fakes. And
really?
I mean, they have so many good fakes, shoes out there that a lot of people can't really tell. So to eliminate that, they'll say, hey, well, send it through our authentication process, and you're going to get, an authentic pair of shoes. You don't have to worry about fakes or anything like that. That takes away all of that. So I think they had to, because a lot of people, selling on StockX, Goat, different, platforms like that. So eBay want to, of course, compete with them. So yeah, but it's cool, man.
Yeah. And I feel like kind of the thought process of eBay, kind of the stigma of eBay was almost everything's fake, right? I know even me as a reseller, right? I like, let me ask you a question. Do you buy a lot of your stuff on eBay, or do you buy it on Amazon?
I buy a lot of stuff, honestly, on Amazon. I do, yeah.
Yeah. And then as not even involved in the reseller, as a consumer, right? What do you think of eBay?
I mean, honestly, I find like with eBay, see, I don't buy like shoes or clothes really on eBay. I mean, on eBay or Amazon, but usually it's like little knickknack stuff, that I buy on Amazon. But I mean, it's really the shipping. I'm getting it the next day. So I'm like, of course, we know eBay probably can't make that happen in one day, but it's like people, this generation, we want stuff like right now, so we can, buy it. And sometimes it's actually even cheaper on Amazon. So
no, it is. Like we ran millions of searches when I'm past company LaCroix, and probably about 85% is cheaper on Amazon, just because like there's so much more. It's those weird things that are cheaper on eBay, right? You can't find vintage or old stock on Amazon very easily. If it is, it's really expensive.
Yeah.
And then Derek, do you want to jump onto Amazon, or are you going to try to stay on eBay? And are you trying to branch out to any secondary platform soon?
Yeah, so I use Mercari now. So I sell on eBay and Mercari, but I don't see myself right now selling on Amazon. I know people who, sell on Amazon, but right now eBay and Mercari is is doing. I just don't want too much on my plate right now.
So,
You
yeah.
know, so I'm just really, honing in on eBay and Mercari right now. So yeah.
How do you like Mercari so far?
Man, Mercari is cool.
Okay.
Mercari is real cool. Yeah. So I really don't get a lot of returns on Mercari. I get more returns on eBay, than on Mercari. And with Mercari, you have the buyer has 3 days, to rate you. And if they don't rate you, and then Mercari will automatically rate you. So that's one thing I like about it. And when they send an offer, if you accept the offer, the money is already in your Mercari account. Just, you don't have to wait 2-3 days, for them to pay like on eBay.
That's the one thing I don't understand why eBay has never fixed that. I feel like no one likes that feature except for buyers, right? I know I bought what I think when we're doing LaCroix about $1 million plus on eBay. It was a nice feature to be able to not pay for an item, right? You can always just cancel it. But I feel like as a reseller, they're trying to be resellers first. I don't get why they haven't implemented that. I feel like it's kind of a simple thing.
Yeah, I mean it's they're way behind on that, man. I'm like, come on,
Yep. And then, so you're doing Mercari now. Do you think you're going to want to go to Poshmark too? Because I know, like Renzi that does shoes, they're only on Poshmark and Mercari. What's your thought process going on Poshmark, and do you like it or not like it?
So I have a Poshmark account, but I don't really understand how Poshmark works. With the whole sharing. And I don't know if it has changed or anything like that. But I know previously you would have to share your store and all of that, and it's like I really don't have time to be sharing my store like that. I just want to list it. Because I get so much inventory. It's like I want to list it and get it out. I don't really have time to be, my time, like we said before in the beginning, like that time management. I'm really, trying to just, get it listed and get it sold and get it out.
Nice. And for your, like, how many listings are you doing roughly like per day right now? And are you trying to increase that? Let's say you're doing 40 today or 20 today. Are you trying to increase that dramatically? And then do you think you're going to hire somebody in the near future to do your photography?
So as far as the numbers I'm doing every day with listing, it's probably around like 20 to 30. Nice. Yeah, a day. Yeah.
Very good. And then
with hiring someone, I don't see myself unless it's like my daughter, because I think she'll get upset if I hire somebody before her to take my pictures. But yeah.
Something cool about your hiring a family. If they're older than 6 years old, you can give them you can pay them $12,000. I think maybe $12,500 tax-free money that goes to them without paying tax on their end, and then you can use it as a write-off on your end. It's pretty a cool little fun fact.
Oh really? Wow.
Yeah, ask your accountant, man. It's a powerful thing, right? And then you can use them as a savings account as well. Kind of like my mentor back in the day. He used to do that. His grandpa used to do that for him, and the guy put like that 12,000 in his stock portfolio until he turned 18, and then like he had like $500,000 just pure cash sitting in there, just fun money at that time. He turned like 21 and had $1 million after everything.
How nice, man, huh? Just turn 21. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Dope.
Cool, man. I think we're almost running out of time. Anything you want to tell the viewers? And if you are watching this video, check out the ATL Flipper on Instagram and YouTube. You guys, I've seen some of your good content as well. Anything else to leave to the viewers? Any kind of tips, tricks, or anything to leave?
Yeah, honestly, like if you want to scale up your business as a reseller and you have, good inventory, like try out HAMMOQ, because HAMMOQ has really worked for me and it's really helping me make more money and giving me the time to spend with my family. So yeah, that's about it, man. So thanks for having me, Ty.
Yeah, I love it. Derek, thanks for coming on, man. And again, we didn't even pay for that shout out. Again, thank you so much.
Oh yeah, no problem, man.